Okay, I think this is being recorded and streamed live. And right now it's almost 3 a.m. my time. So let me quickly check if the audio is working. Yes, it is. And I wanted to hop on for a couple of minutes real quick. And I guess I will throw the replay of this over in my YouTube channel as well. If you're watching this live, drop a like in the comments. If you're watching the replay, chime in as well. Let me know who you are and where you're tuning in from. And it's 10 minutes to 3 a.m. from where I am right now at this point of the recording. And I would like to take as much as I can, 10 minutes, so just come on here, take a break from work and share a little bit of my thoughts. Well, all those really good. Yeah, so I think this week, today, this live, my intention is specifically to talk about the skill of appointment setting and what it meant to me, what it means to me right now in 2024, and how it all meant to me for me in 2021, because that's where it all started. So up to that point in 2021, if you don't know my story, I've been doing remote sales for a long time now, since 2018. So I actually did it in reverse. I started as a closer, a pure closer, pure commissions, no base, and I really worked from the bottom up with nothing. In fact, it is in this very spot right now that you see with this opaque curtains. I just shifted over here. With these opaque curtains that you see right now, this is what actually blocks the sunlight out when I sleep in the day here in Singapore, because then I would be working through this exact hour through the entire night, because it's daytime, it's afternoon, it's evening in the US, where I would set and close. So I started as a closer. Then I built a sales team, then I lead the sales team, and I train the sales team. And up to a point, I was also involved in the coaching. So it got to a point where after 3 years, I was pretty much doing everything in the team. And then that gave me a lot of confidence to step out and say, well, the only thing that's left to change is really just a little bit of the branding and mostly the emphasis on what I can give. And that became me stepping out to do my own thing in late 2020, early 2021. And the transition for me was particularly difficult because it's one thing to set and close for someone else. And then when you step out and launch your own thing, it becomes a completely different beast, right? And I was really struggling for a long time because I would do my usual routine and I would get stuck. And whenever I would get stuck, there would be these long hours of just me sitting down and trying to figure out, like, okay, I have been closing for some time now. I've built a sales team, I've led a sales team, I've trained a sales team, and my niche at that time in 2021 was mindset, because uh that was the most products, services, coaching programs that I've sold up to that point in time. And I was super invested in mindset myself as a student, as a practitioner. So when I launched my own thing, I was like, okay, it's going to be a mindset offer and it's going to be a mindset coaching program. And there would be these long hours, 3, 6 uh, blocks of time every single day, which amounts to a lot, if you're looking at months and years. And in these long, long blocks of time, I actually did not know what to do. And I had an offer. I had the closing skills. I actually had the entire program created. I had the entire thing done. And I was like, what's going to happen from here? because up to that point, a lot of the leads were given to me. And a lot of the leads came in and wanted to buy because our brand was already extremely established. So I had a strong career as a closer. But at the same time, when you took away the brand, when you took away the leads coming to me, when you took away all of the advantage and I was left alone and I only had the offer, I only could close. And I was like, where are all the leads? Where is my pipeline? Because I could not enjoy those advantages anymore. And I was really confused. Like, where are all the leads going to come from? Because I have something that I can sell. Like, I can see today, I see a stream of likes coming in. Oh, it's from Aziz and Carlida. Hey, it's nice to see you guys. Been a while. Yeah, so, and I can see that in a lot of businesses today as well, right? Like, you guys have the product, you guys have the offer. I can see some of you provide copywriting services. I can see some of you provide setting services. I can see some of you provide closing services. I can see a lot of people providing funnel building services. Khalida says, thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming on my live. Just want to hop on and share a little bit of my thoughts, specifically on how appointment setting influenced my life and my whole experience with it. Because these days, if you search on the net for appointment setting, what you will see a lot is the skill of send messages, book calls, earn income remotely. And I feel that is everywhere. So I'm not going to repeat what is already done. And I really want to share my experience working from the bottom up. So back to what I was saying, I had the offer. I had the closing skills. I was going to coach people on mindset. And I was like, where are my leads? Because up to that point in time, as a closer, my company, my influencer would give me leads, or they would just come to me because, they love our brand, they love our product. And when I left that sales team, I was like, where are all my leads going to be? And how are they going to know, what my offer is? How am I going to have that connection with them? How am I going to have that relationship with them? And today, I can see the same thing in a lot of people with a skill, and some of them are really good at what they do, building funnels. I see spiritual teachers, some of them are my students, are my clients, they have a skill, and they are doing what I was doing 3 years ago, which is to say, well, I have all these things that I can sell. I have a good product. I have a good service. I have a good skill. But where are my leads? Should I buy them in bulk from somewhere? Should I run ads? Should I have a webinar? Should I just make content every day? And all these questions and the turmoil of like, where's all my business going to come from? I struggled with that for so long. And I was so confused and it was so difficult until, until I was like, I cannot sustain this business anymore in 2021. Sometimes my mic just like get randomly cut off. So if you can hear the things I say and there are insights coming into your mind and you're kind of going through something similar but not so different, even if you're watching the replay down the road on my YouTube channel or wherever you're seeing this, do chime in and comment. That way it helps me know that my audio is clear. So sometimes it just get cut off. That way it helps me know that. Yeah, wonderful. Until it got to a point where I was like, I cannot sustain this business anymore. Right. And so if you were me, what would you do? Right. I would fall back on the best skill that could generate money for me at the time, which was always the fallback on remote closing. I have a really strong affinity with remote closing. So anytime like I really needed cash flow, I could just fall back on closing. And so at that time, we have June that's watching live with us. Welcome. And so at the time, I was like, couldn't sustain this mindset coaching business anymore. Let's fall back on closing. And so I started connecting with business owners. I did my thing, which is relatively. I'm more confident in doing that. Which hey, I'm a closer. I've closed before. Let me close for you, right? And I would do that. And I was given a few opportunities. And really interestingly, one of them said, "Do you want to do appointment setting?" And I was like, "What's it? What is that?" And this business owner said, I can close. It's more like I need help with appointment setting. And in this company, you will probably be able to do both. I can let you take some of the calls, but I really need a setter. I need to be like present, awake for 8 hours on my computer, US time zone. And I was like, okay, wait, let me think about it. Appointment setting. I've never done it before. I was really confident in closing. I've built a sales team. I've led closers. I've trained closers, but like appointment setting, that's new for me in 2020, 2021. That was new. And so I was like, can you demonstrate and really walk me through how this works? And the business owner just explained really straightforward. Look at my messenger. Look at my messenger on Facebook. And I saw her inbox. It was full. It was full of leads. And I was like, how are you doing this? And then she said, well, look at my messenger on Instagram. And I looked at it and it was like, wow, over flooded with leads. How are you doing this? And then she showed me her messenger on LinkedIn. And I was like, wow, again, full of leads that are interested in what you do. And then she said, now, do you understand why I need to hire appointment setter? And I was like, okay, now I can see where you're going with this because all your messenger platforms across all the social media channels are flooded and there's no way you're going to, just reply all of them. So one of the questions I asked was like, if that's the case, why don't you hire a VA? Right? And she said, well, technically I already have a VA, but the VA mostly helps with like operations, Excel sheets, transferring of data, making sure like all the numbers are just going through. It's more operation-based work. And I say, so can't the VA reply to these messages? And she said, no. I said, why? Can't you just hire another VA? She said, I need someone who understands the psychology of sales to do appointment setting. And I was like, interesting. How is it that you can sell on chat? Well, she said, I have some low ticket items that sometimes, people just want to ask like 3, 5 questions and then they will just buy, or sometimes they just outright ask one question and they buy. Sometimes they need a little bit of navigating and then they will come in and book a call. And some of them have already watched my training. Some of them are like really close, to completing a sale, or at least they want to have a call. So it's really helpful if you can come in as a setter and be me, right? So uh, she was the boss, she was the business owner, and essentially she was asking me to be her to really, because you don't know who's inside someone's inbox, right? And so I was being her, and I took on the role. I was like, this is really interesting, and I don't really see how it connects to closing, but I would like to learn from you. I'd like to learn this skill because I can see like there's so many leads, there's so many leads across all your platforms until you can't handle it. And she said, yes, I completely am unable to handle it because I have to take calls, I have to coach, I have to create content. And so if you can see, Sean, like all these leads that are all over my social media, someone has to do it, right? And I want a trained salesperson to do this, to book calls with them, to sell them low ticket items, to book inbound applications, to put them on a calendar. Like someone has to at least spend 8 quality hours a day to move the machine, and I'll pay you really well because if all these calls get closed, you get 5%, right? You get 10%. If you close them yourself, you get 15%, right? You get 20%, you get bonuses. And I did the math. I was like, wow, okay. And it looks really lucrative. And me being the first setter, the first hire of this growing team, I felt it was perfect, right? Because there are some really huge teams that are super established and the turnover is really high. They hire people, fire people, hire people, fire people. But me being on this kind of like a B plus going to A minus team, I was the first hire. I can be the main setter. I can graduate to take on the closer role, which I was very confident of doing. And eventually I could do both. And most importantly, I felt that. And listen to this, as an appointment setter on this team, I was paid 1,005 USD base, okay, excluding the commission. So when you really added it all, that was a really lucrative year for me. But that's not even the point. The point is I was being paid a 1,500 base along with all the other commissions that she closed and later on I closed. I was being paid to learn this skill. You know what I'm saying? So can you imagine the gratitude that I had when initially I had failed in my mindset coaching business because the bottleneck was leads. The bottleneck, the blind spot was quality leads that would come inbound and they will, there goes my mic. Okay, let me, sometimes the Bluetooth like interferes with testing. Okay, I'm probably back online. Yeah, sometimes the Bluetooth interferes with the mic a little bit. So I was at a point where I was stuck in my business and the bottleneck, the blind spot was leads. And leads that would come inbound, leads that would get nurtured, leads that would close the booking calls, leads that would pay for low ticket items, leads that would apply for high ticket offers. These were the main bottleneck in my business, right? In businesses that have a great skill, have a great product, and then they're like, where are all my business? Where's my sales? I was faced with that bottleneck. And then later on, I was paid to learn how to solve that bottleneck. I was paid a 1,500 base, including all the commissions on top every month. Because in Singapore, there's a little bit more money due to the exchange rate. And every month I would have bigger and fatter months because sometimes people don't pay in full, they pay in installments. So when I get paid as my commissions, it would stack. And sometimes it would stack until really a big fat month. And I was like, well, this is really awesome. I just need to be more consistent and really get good at booking the calls, really get good at, if I can't book the calls, then I at least have to get good at finding the right leads, right? As an appointment setter. If I can't book the calls, at least I should get good at nurturing, educating, nurturing, giving value, helping people as the business owner, me disguised as the business owner, as the appointment setter in the inbox. Because I noticed that as an appointment setter, the leads that I added in January, the leads that I nurtured and educated and gave value purely from a place of if you're not ready to book a call, if you're not ready to become a client, that's okay. That's okay. Here's something I can help you with. Here's something I can give you, right? And as the appointment setter for the business owner, I would play as her in the inbox and I would add people, nurture people, send her content, help people with something. And eventually I would say, let's get on a call, right? I would sell the value of the call. And if you just look at it as one call, right? It's so easy to get attached. You know what I'm saying? If you have that one call, that one prospect, it's so easy to get attached. And sometimes I would feel that way. But inside her inbox, because I was doing 8-hour shifts, at least 8-hour shifts daily, even the times where I was not on my keyboard, I make sure I was present on my phone. I could log into her inbox via my phone. I had 2 phones. I could log in via Chrome, Firefox. I made sure I was present. I would just add people, message, nurture, add people, message, nurture. So it got to a point where there were so many calls. We were no longer attached. At least I was no longer attached to any one call because there were just too many. It got to a point where I moved the machine so hard that she said, Sean, now I can't do the calls myself anymore. You got to help me do the calls. We'll probably hire a new setter and then, you can just build the systems and lead the team like you did 1.5 years ago. And afterwards, I got on the calls myself. So I became the setter. I became the closer. And it was in that moment when I was the one, I even helped her with the content creation, the ideas for what content to create so that the appointment setter would have support. The ideas that the content should be so that the appointment setter could have an easier time booking calls. And so when the closer gets on the call, they have an easier time closing the calls. So because I did almost everything in the marketing and sales department, I realized like, wait, this is a kind of self, this is a kind of self-sufficiency because now I controlled the lead flow. Now I controlled the calls getting on the calendar. Now I controlled the sales coming in. Volume, that's on me. Quality, that's on me. Who gets added into the pipeline daily? That's on me. Who gets nurtured consistently on a daily basis? That's on me. Who makes sure they move onto the calendar as sales calls? That's on me. Who makes sure that the deals convert into sales? That's also on me. In that moment, I realized like this is the genesis of the complete closer. And without the skill of appointment setting, if you can only close, that's my main intention for doing this live today, right? That's my message. If you can only close, or in some cases, I've seen a lot of business owners or service providers, you only have the skill or the offer. Can I ask you, where are your leads going to come from? You might have leads, but how are they going to be nurtured? How are they going to be educated? How are they going to understand you and your brand and who you are well enough? Your processes, the pains that they are going through, everything coherently. The keyword is coherently. So that by the time they get on a call with you, if a conversation ever happens, it is going to be a sales conversation. It's going to be a client conversation. There will be no chit-chatting. There will be no wasting time dancing around back and forth. There will be no chit-chat. It's all the leads coming to you. They already know I have a problem. I know you can probably help me solve it. I understand what your general processes are. I know you're good at what you do. So tell me, what is your offer? And let's talk business. This is really the dream, the sweet spot for any business owner, for any closer, to have this flood, this stream of leads coming to you that are super ideal, properly nurtured, properly educated, properly marinated and cooked, if you know what I'm trying to say, so that you never have to get on a call and, pretend that it's not a sales call. You never have to get on a call and it's like, do we talk about the weather? Do we chat and make this less awkward? When do I try to sell you? None of that. Okay. And you never ever have a situation where you're like, where are all my leads, right? Why do I have all these sales this month and then the next 3 months it's dry? So I hope that by sharing this experience from a failing mindset coaching business that was dry of leads to going back to the drawing board and say, I'm going to pick up this new skill at a time, appointment setting, and connect it to how the closing gets supported, to connect it to how the business owner gets supported, to connect it to how the whole pipeline is properly filled with the best possible leads. It's very manual in the beginning. I did spend about at least 2 4-hour shifts. That's like 8 hour plus 9 hours a day working through the night, like right now, this time. Setting, type, send, add message, welcome into the group, next message. Because you reply 5 message, another 5 come in. You reply 10, another 10 come in. If you reply 50, next thing you know, you have like a whole snowball of these over there. So in the beginning, it was very manual in the beginning. And by the time I got the hang of it, we were able to systemize this properly. We had scripts, we had systems, we had SOPs, and we were able to plan for the next hire. I was able to move up into a closer and then to a sales leader role. And the best part about it is if you have this skill, because like me, you work from the ground up. When it is time for you to lead, when it is time for you to train, when it is time for you to delegate and step out of the manual role, not only will you know how to optimize things properly, you will know where the bottlenecks are, where the choke points are, and you will know how to lead really well. Because the struggle is, I do see a lot of business owners, they reach a similar point in their business where they're like, I have all these leads on Facebook. I have all these leads on my Facebook group. I have all these leads on my Instagram. I have all these leads on my, we have a caster watching live with us. Welcome. We have all these leads on my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my email, my Facebook group, everywhere. And oh my God, I need to hire a setter now. And they hire the setter, but they can't train the setter. They hire a setter, but they can't lead the setter. They hire the setter, but they can't support the setter. So the setter is like, what am I doing here on this team, right? And why are the leads like that? So I feel that my advantage was because I was a business owner and then I went back to work as a setter. So I could see how it all connected. So today, when I hire a setter or when I manage other setters, I know what they're going through. I know the amount of volume that you guys have to handle. I know the kind of stress that you guys face when things don't go really well. I know how much depends on this skill when, you were like me working that full year and just depending all on this skill. And I also understand what the business owner is thinking when they hire someone like you. So because I understand both sides of the coin, I know what are your concerns if you're a business owner watching this. I know exactly what you're thinking about your setter. And if you are the setter yourself, I know exactly what you're going through because I had to paste these opaque curtains on my wall, on my window to block out the sunlight as I work through US time zones. I'm right here in Singapore, by the way. I know both ends of the story. Okay, so I completely understand what you guys are going through. And I will say that at the end of the day, to sell really well via chat, it is the only way to go. Even if you want to run ads and you're really good at closing and you have a great product, at the end of the day, there's really a lot of leads. Even if you look at your personal accounts right now, how many people are on your Facebook? How many people are on your Instagram, LinkedIn? If you guys have TikTok, I don't know, email lists. There's so many leads, past calls that didn't book, people that book calls that didn't show, people that paid, existing customers. There's so many leads all over the place. And so this skill is a must-have. There's just too many leads lying around in 2024. Especially if you have good content, your leads are going to snowball every week, every month. So someone in your business, if it's you right now, that's possible. If not, eventually someone in your business has to come in and collate all these leads and make sure none of them are leaking out of your systems and to engage them and to support them. If they're not ready to book a call now, that's fine, right? We're going to continue to support them, have a relationship with them, educate them, nurture them, so that 2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, you have a consistent stream of people coming in, texting you, booking calls, raising their hands, sending applications in, like all year round. Your farm is fat. Your farm is strong. We have a Justin watching with us. Welcome. So it is a must-have skill. Just imagine what would change for your life, for your business, if every day you just send out 20 messages or 25 or 50 daily. The amount of people that you can reach all over the world in that week, in that month. Testing? Yeah, as I was saying, testing. Yeah, the snowball of all those leads in the weeks and months to come, a specialist needs to come in and sweep them all up and move these leads and educate and nurture them so that all year round, your inbound farms are fed, are strong, and they're all qualified buyers. So whether you are a business owner or an appointment setter or a closer, how can you not understand the power of chat? How can you not understand the power of conversations? Because one sales call, that is 30, 40 minutes, 1 hour gone. After that, you're drained, and then you have another 2 calls, 3 calls. And conversations is different because in the same amount of time, you can easily hit at least 50 people. And if you're a business owner or you're really good at numbers, you should know that these numbers eventually reveal a formula. Because your closing ratio, your calls to book ratio, your leads to calls book ratio, and then your closing ratio, and then the leads that come in, all these numbers, once you're tracking them, you'll see a formula. So if you increase your skills in conversation, what would that do to your entire overall sales pipeline? If you're really good at turning conversations into conversions, what would that do to your life and your business? So whether you're an appointment setter or closer or business owner, this skill of conversations is indispensable. Your language needs to be strong, your nuances, you need to be sensitive to that. And you really need to understand the buyer psychology and eventually sell them the value of a call. That is the power of selling via chat. You take this away, and you're going to be exactly where I was in. Going to be exactly. You're going to be exactly where I was in 2020 with an amazing offer, with the ability to close. And then you're like, where are all my leads? Or, why are my leads not properly educated? And then I have to do all my marketing on my sales call for every call until I'm so tired, right? So this is an indispensable skill. And if you have reached a point in your business or your career and you are like where I was in 2020, where this skill of selling via chat, whatever you're selling, whether it's a low ticket item, a call for a high ticket offer, an application to be an event, anything that can be sold through chat. If this is the main bottleneck in your business, I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but as of right now, this coming Friday, which is 3rd of May, 3rd of May 2024, at 10 a.m. Eastern, I'll be going live for a 2-hour workshop that is a deep dive into the psychology, the touch points, the scripts, the techniques to make sure that all your messenger chat across all your social media platforms, your Facebook, your page, your group, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your email list, any point that a lead can find you, any point where a lead can engage with you, any point where a lead can have a conversation with you, and you're able to gather all these leads and bring them all your calendar and understand them and make them an offer. If this is the main skill that you need, this coming Friday, 3rd of May, 10 a.m. Eastern, I will be doing a 2-hour deep dive, sales via chat. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to put the link in the description right now. Just let me type it in. All you need to do is head over to completecloser.com/chat. That is complete closer. Do you see it? I just typed it in the chat. If you're watching this replay on my YouTube, I guess I'll put it in the description. You will see a document that, just let me pin it. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll probably pin it on the description as well. You will see a document that covers what I'll be going through on Friday morning. Okay, and then if you have any questions about this workshop, of how it relates to, actually, I'm taking questions right now. I'm preparing my content, and some people have asked me, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? If you have questions and you're following my work for a while now, don't be shy. Comment below and ask me. Okay. There's no such thing as a bad question, because if you don't ask, you're gonna keep it inside, and then you're gonna go through another few days, weeks, or even months, and all you need to do is ask. And whether you are a setter, whether you're a closer, whether you're a business owner, I believe this skill is indispensable. So if you have a question on this skill itself of conversations, convos, selling via chat, okay, or you have a question about event, just reach out and let me know. Send me a message. Or you have a question about event. Okay, and if you're watching this replay down the road, sometime in the future, whenever you're watching this, I'm not sure if this all is gonna still be around. So just reach out and then ask me whatever you need, and I'll send it over. So thanks for tuning into my live today. That's all I have for you. Any comments, questions, feedback, send them my way, and I will see you tomorrow.